Junkyard Junkie, back here with another video. In today's video, we're going to be changing the transmission fluid and filter on this 12th gen Ford F150. But this should work for any of the Ford vehicles that have the 6R80 transmission, such as the Ford Mustang and I believe the Expedition. So let's jump right into it. So first thing you want to do is lift it up. If you're in your driveway, just get it on 4 jack stands. That way it's completely level as you do this. But for me, since I got a lift, I'm gonna lift it up. That way I can show you a little bit better how it's all done. So coming directly up underneath the vehicle, you'll find your oil pan bolt right there. And then there is your transmission. Now this exhaust will get hot during this procedure, so be careful. And if we look up here to the left, right there, we'll take that off, and that's where Ford puts their dipstick for this transmission. Okay, so you should be able to see it better now. Now you just want to get a 19mm wrench. We'll just go ahead and break it loose. That way we don't run into any problems later. Once it's loose, you can just leave it like that. Now then, unfortunately, they don't leave a drain plug for this, so we'll have to do it the old way, which ain't no big deal. But we're gonna have to take all these out right here, all these bolts. We'll start with the back half over there, and then work our way back so it can tilt down and pour out. Okay, so first we're gonna take out these back, and then I'll show you an old mechanics trick. That way, none of your transmission fluid leaks onto your exhaust pipe. All of these are 8mm. Okay, for the back, you will need a 1/4 inch ratchet because a 3/8 is just too big to fit up in there. So we just get on there. Okay, now the secret to not dripping any on your exhaust is tin foil. All we're going to do is shove it up in here. I want to tug this down so it's more concentrated to come straight down. And that's all you really got to do. I'll make sure it ain't tucked up on the actual pan, or else you'll pull it off with the pan. So now we can go ahead and zip these off and let it drain. Okay, we have our catch pan underneath, and we're just going to keep taking bolts out from the back. Okay, I had to readjust it and tuck it more up behind there just because it's a windy day today. There we go, we got some dripping already. Okay, now I'm gonna just make sure everything's cracked loose, and then I'll do all the front ones, and then we'll take out the 2 on the side. Pull it down. At least the fluid actually looks pretty red, so that's good. going to crack these last two loose. Go ahead and loosen it over here too. There we go, we're not making a mess, and it's all looking good. All right, now we'll take the last one out. Now we can pull this whole thing down. Okay, so if we look right up there, that's where our transmission filter goes. It actually came out with it. Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. Normally they stay up there with it, but it's no big deal if it comes out with it. Okay, so you just want to clean up the mating surfaces, get it nice and clean. You also want to do that on the transmission pan itself. Also, you want to clean up here, right here where the filter goes back in. Stick it up in there and clean that out. Now we'll stick our new one in. So all it does is just push right up in there. Okay, so you want to get everything nice and clean. Right here, this is your little magnet to catch any debris. You don't want any large chunks. But we're just going to wipe that off as well. You can actually pick it up if you want. That way you can clean it off a little bit better. Okay, now that you got everything nice and clean, here's the old gasket. It says, you know, if it isn't damaged, you can reuse it, but I don't suggest doing that. So the kit from the parts store usually will come with one. I wish it was the same as the old one. That way it would just stay up there better. Instead, it's one of these rubber ones that like to flail around. I'm gonna show you a trick for that too. So another little trick of the trade is to use zip ties. And that way you can clip them off once you get your bolts started. You don't want to tighten it down and then do it, but just stick it in here. This way it doesn't move around on you. We won't even make it that tight. We just want it to stay right about there. And now these back ones are hard to get to, so we're not going to actually touch them. We're going to touch the ones before them. So like right here. Now you can also use some kind of tacky spray. Sometimes I do that, and that works out pretty good usually, but don't have any right now, and I don't want to fight with this all day. So just going to do this. And really two will probably do it, but these rubber gaskets like to flop around, as you can tell. It's actually doing better than most, but still. And then we'll come and we'll do this one right here. Okay, we're ready to go put this up in there. And remember, when you're putting it up there, you just want to get all of them started first. Do not tighten any of them down until you get them all started. Okay, so we'll just stick this back up in here. Make sure it all goes in there like it should. And get these started and I'll be right back. Okay, so I got every bolt started except for the 4 zip ties. And all you gotta do is cut them out. I'll show you that now. But before I do, taking these back ones out and putting them back in, the way I get them started, and once they got loose enough where they didn't want to ratchet anymore, I take my one hand and go over and hold it in my left hand, and I use both hands to just kind of spin it up there. That's my way of doing it. People probably have a better way, but it may help someone, so I'm leaving it in here. So if we just look at this, all you gotta do, snip it, then it'll come right out. We'll go ahead and do that for the other 3. Also, I want to stress this right now, is while you're doing this, if anything feels wrong or something doesn't feel quite right, go ahead and redo it, because it's better to fix it now than have to fix it again later. Okay, so I got the back ones already ran up pretty far, just because they're the hardest ones, but the manual says to go just in a crisscross pattern, which we're about to do now, and then we'll torque it down and I'll give you the torque specs. If we did the front left, we'll do the back right. Don't full send it on these, we're just snugging them down. So we'll go here now. The front. And we'll do the middle. Okay, so we're going to go to 106 inch-pounds, and we're going to do a crisscross motion like it stated. Start back here with these harder ones. So from back left, we'll go to top right. Now we'll do bottom right. Okay, so my camera died, but I torqued everything down, so I'd start at like back left, top right, top left, back right, middle, middle, top right, bottom left, and just keep going like that, just crisscrossing it all the way through. Then you want to clean all this up. I've done just a small cleaning. We're going to fill it with fluid, and then I'll clean it up the rest of the way. Okay, so remember, we already cracked this loose. To get the proper reading, we'll have to crank up the truck and let it get to operating temperature. But since we don't want to start it without any transmission fluid in it, we are going to fill it up to the dipstick low point. So here's the dipstick. Pull this out for right now. Okay, so we're going to be using Mercron LV. We're going to put about 4.5 quarts in it before we check it, because it does take a good bit. And this is where the fluid pump comes in. So we just stick it in the hole, just like that. We just start pumping. And I'm going to skip this part because all it is just pumping it in there. Okay, so with 4.5 quarts poured into it, it's at the top of the A. There's A with the hash marks around it and a B. We were at the top of the A, so now we're going to crank it up and let it warm up and get circulated, and then we'll check the level again. We'll probably have to add another 1/4 quart, maybe even the whole 1/2 quart, because the only way to properly check these vehicles is to have the engine hot and up to operating temperature. So once you have everything up to operating temp, just go to each gear for about 5 seconds. And you're going to do this twice, and you'll be good to go back underneath. Okay, so that's definitely why you want to check it while it's hot and up to operating temperature. On this stick, you want it to be at the B side, and that took me about 7.5 quarts. Now we'll just lower it down, turn it off, and go ahead and clean up underneath it, and we'll be done. Okay, so finally, don't forget to put that little plug back in, put the dipstick in, put that little plug back in, and we'll turn that down and tighten it up. And that's going to do it for this video. If you found this video helpful, please leave me a like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you.